Welcome to the Seller Roundtable e-commerce coaching and business strategies with Andy Arnott and Amy Wees.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Andy Arnott with
Amy Wees.
And this is Seller Roundtable number 63, and we are super excited to have Joe and Mike Brusca with us here today. Thanks for being on, guys.
How are you?
So when we've gotten the duo down now. So before when we have two guests on as a team like you guys, we've learned our lesson that we have to ask by name. So we will try to remember that so you guys aren't stepping on each other. Thank you so much for being here, guys. And Joe, we're going to start with you. And Mike, you can kind of jump in a little bit afterwards if you have anything to add. But tell people a little bit about you guys, where you guys were born, kind of raised, things you did, job-wise, college, school, kind of, what you guys did up to this point personally. Share as much or as little as you like. If you work for the CIA and you don't want to, tell people about it, then, feel free to share what you want.
Yeah. So we're brothers. I think you said that. We were both born in New Jersey. We still live there. As far as jobs go, we both went to college, both got quote regular jobs. I was a food scientist. Mike was a chemical engineer. But what happened was, I kind of didn't like my job anymore. I definitely didn't want to continue going to work every day. So I just kind of started looking for anything else to do. And back in 2014, I started selling on Amazon. I was doing Amazon FBA. At first I started doing retail arbitrage, and then I started doing wholesale and then private label. And then I realized that, I had actually quit my job from doing a combination of those three. I was making enough money to where I was like, all right, I'm just going to pursue this. But then I realized that in order to really grow it from the private label side, and frankly, from any of those angles, I needed to invest a lot in inventory. Like if I wanted to double my sales and double my profit, I needed to get double the inventory, which is kind of what led to Kindle. Well, that's not what led to Kindle publishing, but when Mike wanted to quit his job, I didn't want him doing the same thing as me. I was kind of at the time, I don't know, I had a scarcity mentality or for some reason. But so then Mike had, he started looking into Kindle publishing. And that's when I realized that Kindle publishing and publishing digital products on Amazon was basically like doing private label, but you get unlimited inventory. So I let him kind of pick up from there.
Yeah. So at that point, Joe was doing his private label thing, and I had started out, I said, all right, I'll give this a try. And over a weekend, I had made some puzzle books. I made a couple Sudoku books, I think. And I had just put it up. I put it on CreateSpace, which is now Kindle Paperback, which allows you to print a paperback book on demand, essentially. And I also put it on Kindle, which isn't even legal, but I put it on anyway. And I was with Joe a couple of days later, and I was like, yeah, I don't know about this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, did you check your sales? And I go on, and I got 4 sales overnight. And I was like, wow, I just made like $8. And so at that point, I was kind of ready to commit to it and see where I can take it. And eventually I came across doing fiction publishing. So I got into that November of 2015, and then I was, at my job, and I decided, okay, I can invest a certain amount of money each month into this. And after, say, a year, if I fail, then that's fine. I'm just staying at my job anyway. So I'd really gone all into that. And after, 3 or 4 months, I was making more than I was making at my job. And Joe had gotten into it as well. And so, we were really, really going hard at it. And I had put in 3 weeks to quit my job. Joe had just bought a house. And then out of the blue, one day, Amazon basically suspended our accounts. And it was realistically a rule change that they implemented. And so anyone that was no longer following this rule that they had put in got suspended. And then we actually got our royalties taken because Amazon takes 60 days to pay you. So I was about to quit my job. I just lost all this money. And Joe and I basically said, okay, we need to figure out something else we can do. So that's when we came upon dropshipping, and specifically high ticket dropshipping. And so we had really just a lot of time on our hands at the moment. And we created a store in 2 weeks, and we had made our first sale within that 2 weeks. So since then, Kindle actually never went away. We got suspended, but we were able to get it rectified, and now it's a bit more of a stable platform. And we really took a hiatus from making books for like a solid 3 years, but at that entire time, Kindle was still making money and paying my bills. So it really shows the passive power of Kindle publishing, but also we were able to diversify our income by making these dropshipping stores and being able to sell the dropshipping stores and being able to sell high ticket products, which I think is a really great entry point for new people, because you can make so much money so quickly. But Kindle publishing is also great now because with, you know, a little bit of investment each month and some consistency, you can really build an audience and just watch the money grow.
Yeah, I like, I've actually been getting much more into print on demand, Kindle. You know, like you said, Mike, I love the fact that, you know, there's very few businesses where you can set it and forget it. The only other thing that was really similar to this was the app business, right? Like I built my first Android app pretty early on when nobody really even knew what Android was. And it, you know, it was one of those things where I would have to upkeep it, you know, promote it, things like that. But really it was kind of like, once you set it up, it's, you know, it continues to make money even when you know, when you don't touch it. So I love those kinds of businesses. You know, one of my coaches recently said that the reason why he loves Elon Musk so much, I don't remember the exact quote, but like Elon Musk says, you know, build automation that it was like build automation that automates or something like that. So in other words, like, you know, as hands off as possible, so that like once you set something up that, you know, you can just build on that. And once you set it up, it's for the most part, you know, self-reliant and runs itself. I love that, you know, not only because of the residual income, but the fact that, yeah, it gives people, you know, very few people get the totally, you know, like the 4-hour work week where, you know, you actually get the freedom of, you know, sitting on the beach if you want to, rather than having to work every single day in your job. So I really love that. I like the fact that, you know, your story is very similar to Amy's and mine. And I think probably 90% of the people that listen to this podcast were, you know, the reason they got into this is they're just sick of the job. They're sick of the grind and being told that, you know, you can only do this, you know, this is your lane, stay in it. You know, all the people who are listening to this podcast, you know, want something better, think there's something better. And so I love that story. Did either of you guys take any, you know, courses when you were starting out? Did you just use YouTube? Did you Google it? You know, were you self-taught, or did you kind of get some help along the way? Did you have any coaches? Kind of what, you know, how did you learn how to do this stuff?
No, I mean, we continue to take, and I mean, we're doing like real estate stuff related now, which I mean, we're not going to get into that stuff, but I mean,
I think I might have to do a different podcast because my wife's an agent. We do a ton of real estate stuff too. So that might be a new, new podcast.
Yeah. But the point I was making is that, yeah, we always invest in courses, and sometimes, you know, we kind of take the attitude of it. There wasn't like one course that was like, you know, really did it over the top for us, but it was more the way we kind of view things is that it's very exponential. So we take courses because it's just like, all right, get right to the point. We're going to complete the steps and see where we get to. And then what happens is that we've been able to, you know, learn something from every different course that we took. And then we say like, oh, okay, this, you know, this thing is interconnected. So we can apply this to this business. And that's kind of something that you just get over time. I find that, you know, and this is probably, you know, I guess there's kind of a debate going on online right now about selling courses, like, and like the ethicalness of it. You know, we sell a couple courses, and, you know, because there's something, it's just, that's the process we go through. So, I mean, yeah, we took a lot of courses, we sell courses. I kind of think like, I think it's very difficult to do this stuff self-taught because, you know, when you're going on YouTube and you're looking for free content, it's all kind of scattered and you don't really know how stuff applies, you know? So, you know, for example, you know, so for our drop shipping stores, we do a ton of Google ads. And so you can go on YouTube and learn a lot about Google ads, I'm sure, but are you going to learn exactly how it applies to the business model that you're working in? Probably not. So, yeah, to answer your question, there you go.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And unfortunately, I think, Joe, the reason why, there's a lot of debate about the courses online is because there's a lot of shysters out there, and unfortunately, you know, there's some people who have gone on YouTube and watched these videos and been like, oh, this is how you do it. I'm going to take a course, or I'm going to build a course from this information I got off of YouTube. And so they don't have the experience, or the real know-how on how to do it. So then people who are doing legitimate stuff, get caught in that same net, unfortunately, which sucks, because there is a lot of great information that you can get from these different courses. Russell Brunson has a ton of courses, and the dude's made hundreds of millions of dollars. And to me, I've learned a lot just even recently. I've been doing online business for over 20 years now, and I still learn every single day. And I love your point about just gleaning a few things from each course is valuable. I mean, you might learn something in that one course that you would not have learned anywhere else. Same thing with podcasts. I don't just listen to Amazon podcasts or marketing podcasts. I listen to personal coaching podcast. I listen to, all kinds of different stuff, because it might not be directly related to your business, but you're going to learn something from that that's really going to help you, whether it's in self-development or, what you're doing. So I absolutely love that. You guys gave a little bit of background, but I think Amy's going to get more into the meat of, kind of how you guys are doing your drop shipping and your Kindle Direct.
Yeah, so you talked about how you got started with Amazon with KDP. You started with private label, after retail arbitrage and all of that, and then you really your KDP took off. Then you got to this point where you got shut down on Amazon, and you're like, man, we're going to start this drop shipping thing. So tell us about that. Like, what is this drop shipping thing that you started, and how did you get into it?
So originally, someone that we knew that was like a Kindle course seller came out with a dropshipping course, and we had taken that, but it was like about selling basically inexpensive products, either through like supplier directories or wherever. And we tried that, and we really had no idea what we were doing. And Joe like basically set up the website, and he started driving Facebook traffic to the homepage, and he's like, why do I have no sales? So eventually, we kind of came across the idea of selling more expensive products. So, products that you can find basically in department stores, or you can find, Home Depot. And we just started contacting these US companies and saying, hey, can we sell your stuff? And basically, it's not as uncommon as you think. These people want people to dropship for. They don't want to do the marketing. They want to focus on their supply chain, and they just want to focus on making a good product. So we got it. We, decided we're gonna make this website, all high ticket stuff. And we went ahead and contacted suppliers. We got in with a few of them, and, we just started doing Google advertisements, Google Shopping, text ads, stuff like that. And that's really where it started kicking off for us. So yeah, from there, we have taken, like Joe was talking about how he thinks it's very difficult to do things without investing in courses. I would take an even harder stance and say, you're absolutely going to have a near zero chance of success if you just try and rely on free things, because it's too scattered. We've taken courses directly on how to do Google ads, like multiple on conversion rate optimization. So it's worth investing your time. And we had figured this out, because just one more sale of a high ticket product, say you sell something that's $2,000, it's not unlikely to make $800 on that, even $1,000. So with the high ticket, it really, everything you do, like if you can just figure something out that you can make one extra sale a month, it's totally game changing.
Yeah. So can we talk a little bit about your process? You talked about how you mostly stick with, so unlike the traditional model of drop shipping, I guess we can call it, that most people talk about, where they're using like an Oberlo plugin on a Shopify website, and they're fulfilling products from like AliExpress or something like that, right? What you're doing is you're partnering up with US-based businesses that sell higher ticket, potentially maybe even larger items. And you are basically partnering up with them. You're listing these things on your website, maybe doing a little bit better job of selling them than if they were just on the shelf in a store. And then you're running ads to those listings on your websites. And then when someone buys, the manufacturer fulfills that shipment to the customer. Is that right?
Exactly. And the word dropshipping has been completely hijacked by these people that run these webinars and talk about AliExpress and Facebook ads and have these screenshots. That's bogus, that stuff. Dropshipping, it's so simple. It's just a fulfillment method. Right. So it's been going on before AliExpress, and it will continue to go on. It's almost behind the scenes from, all this internet marketing hype. It's just, hey, I don't want to take this into my warehouse, so just ship it directly to the customer. And when you're selling expensive stuff and big stuff, which is not a problem at all, there's no point in taking it into your warehouse and shipping something twice. So it's extremely common. Right. Even like we work with companies and we know that, okay, they're also selling with Home Depot. Home Depot is not taking in these products.
Yeah.
It's a super common thing, even just for like huge corporations to just drop ship.
So can we talk about your actual process for, how do you find new companies? Like, do you stick to a specific niche? How do you find new companies? And what does your process look like from kind of contacting that company to putting it up on your website and fulfillment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I guess so. The process is very simple. I mean, so we just basically, like we alluded to, we like to do stuff that's expensive. So, I mean, for me, that's where it all starts. I like to think of what's expensive, what fits those criteria of where it's not going to want to hit multiple warehouses for that reason. And, there are lots of websites you can go through that have a lot of drop shipping stuff on them, like Wayfair and Houzz and stuff like that. Because Wayfair started purely as a drop shipping company. It's even obvious. Like I say this a lot on our live stream. If you look at the Wikipedia and read about the history of Wayfair, it started on as racksandstands.com or something.
Wow.
So, and then they basically merged all their mini drop shipping stores into Wayfair. So that's kind of a little bit of a history lesson there. But yeah, I like to start with that criteria of what is expensive and what's not going to want to hit multiple warehouses. And then, once you've been doing it for a while, I don't even really go on sites for much inspiration anymore. But a beginner, that's something good for a beginner to do. But yeah, it just kind of comes up as you're going through life. Like you see something like, oh, that's over $1,000. That's probably a couple $1,000. And then, it's really very simple. You just call the supplier. You can email them and then follow up with a call, or, sometimes you could just email. It kind of depends on your approach. And you say, hey, I want to basically become a dealer, join your wholesale program. They send you a price sheet. You list it on the website and you start driving relevant, high intent traffic. And that's really the key, is high intent traffic. When you're talking about doing Facebook ads and social media ads, that's low intent traffic. That's cold traffic. And they have no, they're looking at cat videos, maybe they're watching a show and scrolling through their phone.
Yeah, you don't really want to ask that Facebook user to leave their feed to go buy some expensive patio furniture or, a new outdoor fireplace or something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we focus on people that are searching for stuff. That's whether it be through, Google ads, which Mike runs, which are great because they're like, a faucet. You turn it on, you start getting high intent traffic. But then on the back end of that, we focus on SEO to, eventually take up multiple spots. So when you search for a product, we want to be in a position where it's showing a Google shopping ad, a Google text ad, and one, if not multiple, organic listings in Google, organic search.
So basically, if I'm searching, and you must have seen our question document, because that's the next question, is all about SEO. So basically what you're wanting to do is, let's say I'm searching for, a lawnmower and you're wanting, if I'm hitting up Google, which most people who are looking for those higher ticket items are. They're going to Google and they're typing in, you know, what's the best lawnmower, or what's the best, you know, whatever it is, right? And they're doing some research on that. So what you're explaining is that how you're using SEO is you're aiming, if I'm the person searching for that, you want a text, you want your shopping ad to be right there in front of me. And then if I start scrolling beyond the shopping ads, you want your text ad to be right there. You want your display ad. You're hitting me in all the areas there so that I keep seeing that and want to click on it. Am I on track there?
Yeah, it's like search engine real estate, they call it. If I'm dominating the page, you're more likely to click on me. Once you click on me, you're in my world. You're going to sign up for the email list maybe, but on top of that, you know, you are getting pixeled to be retargeted. And so that's also an important part of, you know, running this traffic is building up that pixeled audience list and, you know, using that effectively. So yeah.
One quick thing I want to point out, which you guys, Joe, which you made a point that, number one, Amy knows, and our audience knows that I love Google Ads. So many people are fixated on Facebook ads, and to me, I've not seen great return on Facebook. I think it's because people are so obsessed with Facebook that they are spending all this money on ads, but the ROI is just not there. Like you said, the intent's not there. It's unless you have you know, a product, I've mentioned this before, that's visually appealing, like women, you know, if you're selling a bikini with some attractive woman on Facebook or Instagram, you're going to do well. But if you're selling office supplies or, like Amy said, patio furniture, you know, not real exciting stuff, the chances of somebody clicking on that and converting is a lot lower. The other thing that I think that you guys are onto as well is a lot of people don't realize your ad spend can go up exponentially compared to the sale price, right? So like on Amazon, you know, we talk ACoS. If you're selling a product that costs $1,000 and you have that huge amount of profit built into the sale, you can spend so much more on ads than if you're, you know, selling a $15 or a $20 widget. If you're selling something for $1,000, you have so much more room to advertise. In the process, you're also collecting, like Mike was saying, way more leads. They may not convert, but then you can go back to them and remarket to them, you know, because you're able to spend so much more on your ads. So I just want to throw that out there because I think that's pretty important for people to understand.
Yeah, that's really the key to the whole thing, because when we teach stuff and when we go and do things ourselves, you know, they need to have like a few different principles. And one of them is it needs to be something that even if you're not great at it, you can still get some level of success. And then you can just build off that. And like you said earlier, that's what it's all about. You need to just be able to kind of stack foundations on top of each other until you have, you know, a passive asset or just even a really good skill set. So we have people in our courses that have tried the AliExpress stuff, wasted tens of thousands of dollars. And it's too difficult because the traffic method is low intent and the margins are low. So to have success, it's almost like a roll of the dice. But when you have that margin, even if you have barely any idea what you're doing, all you need to understand is you want a keyword that's related to the product. And if you get enough of those, then you can make sales. And it's, even if you have to spend $500 to make 1,000, that's still great at the end of the day.
Thanks for tuning in to part 1 of this episode. Join us every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for live Q&A and bonus content after the recording at sellerroundtable.com. Sponsored by the ultimate software tool for Amazon sales and growth, sellerseo.com and amazingathome.com.